My life had always been a series of careful steps, each one placed exactly where my parents, Barbara and Richard, told me to put it. We lived in a quiet suburb, and my dad was a civil engineer, my mom a retired teacher. My older brother, Mark, was the golden child, a high-flying marketing executive. My parents' biggest concern wasn't my happiness, it was appearances. Everything was about what people would think, what the neighbors would say, and how we measured up to other families. I'm an architect, and I love my job, but to them it was just a nice, respectable career that didn't rock the boat. Before this story unfolds, I'd love to connect with you. Please let me know in the comments where you're watching from, and what time it is in your corner of the world. It's amazing to see how far these stories can travel. The weight of expectations. My cousin Samantha's wedding was the biggest event of the year for our family. My parents had been talking about it for months, not with excitement, but with a certain kind of dread. It was an opportunity for the family to show off, and they were terrified I would embarrass them. A week before the wedding, my mom called me. "Jennifer," she said, her voice tight, "I just want you to remember your place. Samantha is the star of this day. Don't do anything to draw attention to yourself. Wear something simple, don't drink too much, and for heaven's sake, don't talk about your new architecture project. No one cares. They care about the family name. Don't embarrass us." My dad got on the phone and echoed the sentiment. "Just be quiet, Jennifer. Be polite and don't make a scene. We're all counting on you." I hung up the phone, feeling the familiar weight of their expectations pressing down on me. My best friend, Jessica, a physical therapist who always had my back, tried to cheer me up. "They're just being their usual selves, Jen. It's a wedding, not a military parade." But I knew better. To my parents, this was a test, and I had no intention of failing. The wedding was as perfect as my parents had hoped. Samantha looked beautiful. The venue was stunning. My family was mingling, all smiles and handshakes. I stuck to my simple black dress and kept my conversations light. My parents and Mark were beaming, proud to be part of such a perfect display. They were so busy schmoozing, they barely noticed me. My brother, Mark, who was supposed to be my ally, just patted my shoulder and told me to keep a low profile. As the night wore on, I felt a knot of loneliness in my stomach. I went to the bar to get a glass of water. That's when I saw it. My brother, Mark, talking to Samantha's new husband, David. He was holding his phone out, showing David something. David's face was a mixture of confusion and disgust. Mark was laughing, pointing at his phone, then pointing at me. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but my heart started to pound. I had a sickening feeling that I knew what was happening. David looked up, saw me watching, and quickly walked away. Mark gave me a condescending smile. He had done something awful. I knew I had to get to the bottom of it. The next morning, I called Jessica. "I think Mark did something to me at the wedding," I said, my voice shaking. He showed David something on his phone, and David looked sick. Jessica, ever the logical one, told me to stay calm and think. "What's the one thing they've always told you not to do?" she asked. "Embarrass them," I said, the words a bitter taste in my mouth. "And what's the one thing that would truly embarrass them?" I thought about it. My parents were obsessed with my professional reputation. They had bragged about my architectural achievements to their friends, even if they never acknowledged them to me. Then it hit me. Mark had to have found something to make me look bad, something related to my work. I started digging through my recent projects, my emails, my social media. Nothing. I was meticulous about my digital footprint. I called Jessica back, defeated. "There's nothing, Jessica. He must have just made something up." "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe he went deeper." Jessica was right. He had gone deeper. I started looking at the company's internal servers, my old college projects, even my archived emails from years ago. I finally found it. A confidential email from my boss, sent to me months ago, about a project proposal I had submitted. The email was full of constructive criticism, saying the design was uninspired and lacking. It was a completely normal exchange, part of the creative process. But I had to admit the words stung. The email was a private matter, and I had deleted it months ago. How did Mark get it? I knew the answer. He had gotten access to my computer when I was home for a family dinner. He had been a guest in my own apartment. He had gone into my files, found this email, and saved it. I had my proof. He had taken a private, critical note and twisted it into a public shaming, trying to prove to the family, and to David, that I wasn't as perfect as they wanted me to be. I didn't confront Mark directly. I knew that would only lead to more lies and gaslighting. Instead, I decided to play their own game, but on my terms. I called a family dinner and invited Mark, my parents, and Jessica. I acted completely normal, even happy. I set the stage for a calm, professional conversation. I had my laptop ready. After dinner, I brought up the wedding. "It was so nice, wasn't it?" I said, smiling at Mark. He smirked, not suspecting a thing. "Yes," he said, "a truly perfect day. No drama." "Speaking of drama," I said, "I have a professional update. I've been nominated for a prestigious architectural award for a project I've been working on." My parents' eyes lit up. This was exactly the kind of thing they loved to hear. "But I couldn't have done it without overcoming a little challenge," I continued, looking directly at Mark. "You see, my initial proposal was, well, it was criticized. My boss said it was uninspired. It was a little embarrassing. My parents looked concerned. Mark looked smug. He knew what was coming. I opened my laptop and showed them the email. "This is the email I received," I said, my voice steady. "I got this critical feedback, and I used it to make my design better. I worked harder. I reevaluated everything." My parents were listening intently, nodding along. "It was a private matter," I said, my voice a little colder. "I deleted the email because I didn't want to dwell on it. But someone who must have had access to my computer, thought it would be funny to save it and use it to embarrass me at a family wedding." I looked at Mark. His face was white. My parents turned to him, their expressions a mix of disbelief and horror. "Mark," my dad said, "is this true?" Mark stammered, I don't know what she's talking about." I had the final piece of my puzzle. I calmly opened up the email properties, showing the exact date and time it was saved, the same day he was at my apartment. The email also had a new sent date, proving it had been forwarded to David. There was no denying it. Mark had not only saved the private email, he had forwarded it to someone else. He had been so sure I'd never find out that he had gotten careless. The silence in the room was deafening. My parents looked at Mark, not with anger, but with a deep, crushing disappointment. The very thing they had warned me not to do, to embarrass the family, he had done himself, and to an unforgivable degree. The rest of the night was a blur of shouting and tears. My parents, who had always put appearances above all else, were forced to confront the ugliness in their own family. They couldn't spin this. They couldn't pretend it never happened. My brother, their golden boy, was a fraud. My dad, who had told me not to make a scene, was now in the middle of the biggest one of all. My mom, who had said I would embarrass them, was now burying her face in her hands. The silence that followed was more powerful than any apology. Mark was cut off. My parents' friends, who had heard the rumor from David, stopped calling. My parents' perfect image was shattered. It was a cold kind of justice. I didn't get an apology from my brother, and my parents never really said they were sorry either. But they stopped telling me not to embarrass them. They stopped trying to control my life. The weight of their expectations was gone. I had started over, not in a new place, but with a new understanding of my own worth. I didn't need their approval. All I needed was the truth, and my own strength to tell it.